In not even a year, the Chicago Bulls went from a joke in the Eastern Conference to now arguably an Eastern Conference contender. Just because of a couple free agent moves, this team has been amazing lately, and honestly, they are super fun to watch. Now, after they signed Lonzo Ball and got DeMar DeRozan via a trade, I think we all expected Chicago to at least get a little bit better, but not this good. Because before this season, could you really argue that DeMar DeRozan was a superstar? And no, I'm not talking Toronto Raptors DeMar DeRozan, I'm talking San Antonio Spurs DeMar DeRozan. Because when DeMar DeRozan played for the Spurs, he wasn't terrible, but he just wasn't DeMar DeRozan. And somehow DeMar DeRozan has transcended not even just to his Toronto Raptor form, but you could argue he's slightly better. In a span of not even 3 months, DeMar DeRozan is playing like an MVP candidate. Zach Lavine is finally getting the team that he desperately needed so he could contend in the playoffs. Lonzo Ball is looking so much better than he did on any other team. Alex Caruso is making the Lakers look so stupid right now. They have Nikola Vucevic, who's been doing very well. And the Chicago Bulls, for the first time in a very long time, are the number 3 seed right now, and there is a possible chance they could end with the 1 seed. All they did was get some key players that definitely gel well together. And when I talked about those players earlier, I didn't even mention the young guys on their team like Patrick Williams and Kobe White, even Ayo Dosunmu. And to be honest, they technically didn't even make any big moves like get a superstar. But what they've done is they've gotten players that obviously gel well together, but they all fit a certain system, and this Chicago Bulls system that they're running right now is insane, and they have a lot of things to back it up. For example, when it comes to transition points, the Bulls are number 1 in transition points and number 3 when it comes to scoring off turnovers, which I think it's very safe to say that Lonzo Ball is the big reason why this is going on. Lonzo Ball is the best playmaker when it comes to the NBA, and that's a reason why they're so high when it comes to transition points. His ability to make plays out of nothing is insane to me. Mind you, this is why he was so dominant in high school and in college as well. This even applied when he was on the Lakers. However, when he went to New Orleans, it did not apply because they only used him as a spot up shooter, which is probably the reason why his stock dropped down, and that's why the Bulls were only able to get him for 4 years, $80 million. I'm not trying to say that 4 years, $80 million is cheap. When you look at a playset like Lonzo and you look at what he can do, he is valued at so much more than just $20 million a year. That playmaking ability and the presence that he brings to the Chicago Bulls is not something that you're gonna see on the stat sheet. Oh, and did I also mention that Lonzo Ball is shooting 44% from 3? On top of that, statistically, he is one of the best defenders in the NBA right now. You mean to tell me the Chicago Bulls got a guy who can shoot well from 3, that is an amazing defender, and a really good playmaker? Yeah, I pay 4 years, $80 million for that, to be honest. On top of that, the Chicago Bulls are number 1 in mid-range shooting, which should not surprise us. On top of that, this team is not only a top 5 offense, but a top 5 defense. Need I go more? Do I have to prove to you guys that this team is very special? And I cannot tell you the last time we saw a complete Chicago Bulls team like this. And I mean, yes, there was the Derrick Rose Chicago Bulls, but I want to remind you guys that that was not a full complete team. It wasn't as balanced, and I know this might be kind of controversial, but depending how they end off the year, you could say I would take this team over that team. And it's not like Chicago's been playing easy teams. Their last 15 games have been playoff teams. When I tell you every single team, I mean every single team in this span is going to the playoffs. And versus all these teams, they had a 9-5 record. I mean, what do I know, but I would say that they're actually a pretty decent team if you ask me. Now, unlike with the Suns, which I talked about in a previous video, which if you have not checked that out, make sure you do, link is in the description, the Chicago Bulls are getting the recognition they deserve, which makes me happy because Zach Lavine has been something on a struggling team that simply did not know how to win games, and finally during this offseason they made a lot of moves, and now this team is looking amazing. I think something that the media won't tell you is that the Chicago Bulls have a legitimate chance to win the NBA Finals, and I'm not over exaggerating this, because aside from the Golden State Warriors and the Phoenix Suns, the Bulls are the most balanced team in the NBA right now. They have a really good offense, a really good defense, they don't have too many young players or too many old players. If I was creating a team, this is the type of system I would want to create. However, I don't know how many balanced teams have 2 of their players in the top 5 in scoring in the league, as DeMar DeRozan and Zach Lavine are both averaging 28+ points per game. Now, if you have made it this far in the video, if you could do me a favor, leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on post notifications, and thank you so much for checking out this video. Let's get back to the content. Now, every team is not perfect, and the Bulls are not an exception of that, but the difference between a terrible team and a championship contender team is basically being able to seek the problem and find a solution. And if you can't come up with a solution, at least try to combat the problem so it's not as bad. Now, when it comes to the Chicago Bulls, there are a few problems that they do have, but they're things that they can adjust that are very simple. For example, Alex Caruso should not be a primary ball handler. That's a fact, and I'm sorry to say that. When you have Zach Lavine, Kobe White, and Lonzo Ball, there is no way in hell you should be overusing Alex Caruso as a primary ball handler. Another problem is Nikola Vucevic. He has been struggling on offense, and he's just not been good whatsoever this season. And Nikola Vucevic has missed some time lately, so I'm not even going to put that that on him, and hopefully when he does come back, he's going to be playing a lot better. However, something the Chicago Bulls can control right now is Coby White's usage. I think Coby White is criminally underrated, and for what reason? He's a good shooter, he's an electric player, he's someone that can come off the bench and do his thing. However, he is injured right now, but I was talking about prior to when he wasn't, obviously injured, so hopefully when Coby White does make his return that he's going to be getting a lot of usage and the Bulls are going to use him right. However, when it comes to these claims that I just made about these two problems, these can either A, be resolved, or B, they're not a big deal in the long run. Like Nikola Vucevic, for example. Yeah, his defense is not that good, but when it comes to his offense, oh my god, this guy's amazing. And when it comes to Coby White, when he gets out of his injury, I honestly do believe that his usage will go up over time. Because I want you guys to remember, Coby White is a former lottery pick, and the fact that he's not a starting point guard on this team isn't that shocking because Lonzo is Lonzo. However, don't be shocked if Coby White comes back and he's a runner for 6th man of the year. And speaking of NBA awards for most improved player, besides Miles Bridges, what about Lonzo Ball or DeMar DeRozan? I mean, there's a chance that DeMar DeRozan's gonna win MVP, so I think he'd rather just win the MVP than most improved player. Now, other than that, I think it's safe to say that this Chicago Bulls team is gonna have an insane playoff run, and possibly they could be the NBA champions. Now, with that being said, if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you do leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on post notifications. I want to thank you so much for checking out this video. I did release a video about the Hornets yesterday, so make sure y'all boys check that out. Also, I have a brand new Discord. The link to the Discord is going to be in the description below. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Have an amazing day. Take care. Peace.